just to these cooling devices, just to tell you that, of course, these devices are all very expensive. And when you must replace it, it's a big price. A very big price. And so it makes sense to think about a solution which is simpler and cheaper. But cooling, better cooling is required.
Yeah.
Here we come back to the rectangular furnace. As I told you, the round furnace is limited in power due to the explanation to about 50 megawatt or so. And this kind of rectangular furnace was installed mainly for very high power, higher power than 50 megawatt. But in my opinion, due to some difficulties and some, you see on the picture, you must install, due to the long form shape, you must install several slack tapping, several metal tapping, and this makes it all complex. And so, in my opinion, before building such a furnace, you have to compare it with two round sub-furnaces. Having each one tapping. And at the end, the price will not be much more, but two separate round furnaces have a big advantage that you can module, you can adapt the campaigns. You never have zero production. If you have two furnaces, you have at least always one working, etc. You have not the difficulties and the risk of these long rectangular furnaces.
I have one question. We installed 6 electrodes. In this case, how can connect the each by electrode in case of current? How you connect three set is one TRS different TRS 6 or TRS 3, but how we can connect the current flow?
In case of 6?
Yeah.
I cannot explain it immediately, but I bring you a sketch. I have an example of 6. I check. I do not remember. It's a bit complex. But I will give you answer. No, this is just some sketch to show you further options of furnace cover. I mean, today, this is also a kind of old-fashioned and more recent. Today, all furnaces must be closed. I guess the high metal furnace is tight, has a tight roof, and then within the tight roof, the question or the variation may be that you have a conical roof or that you have a flat roof. In case of very large furnaces, it's better to have a flat roof, because if you have a conical roof, it's no more possible to install you know, the pipes for charging, because you have many charging pipes on a big furnace. This you can see here also. You can see it is actually, this is the most popular solution now, which is a completely flat roof. But it has no difficulty. So, just to say that actually the most popular solution is this one. This is only an option on a small furnace.
How can choose the type of roof? For example, in Gwangyang high metal is, I think, flat roof, but in outside, round of outside is big hole. Operator can see the material layer and more.
It's open. It's open.
Yeah.
Ah.
And
So, around the furnace
Yeah,
there is a slit,
yeah,
and people can see inside.
so good more audition action express the charging material.
Huh?
Push.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You know, in case what is benefit of the production? What is good solution? We can choose the what is good solution, the type.
For me, it's always better to have a tight furnace, like for EAF also. If you have no tight furnace, it is possible, but if you have a large opening, you will suck a lot of intake air, and that's not good. That increases your off-gas cleaning sizing, and on the other hand, further, this is an important point in SAF also. If you have an opening here, for you say they had such opening here at this level, huh? And they can see the And they can see this, and then they can push.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. I have seen this on a old-fashioned but small furnace. But the high metal is large. Huh? It's 12 meters. The problem here, when you have an opening, is for me the main problem. No, there are two problems. The one is that if you have openings, they will suck air. Huh? You absorb air, and here you will double the gas leaving. That's costly. But there is a second problem. Here, out of the charge is coming a gas. CO plus CO2. And you can imagine if this CO meets with air, you will have here big flames. And instead of having a cold roof, you have all the time a hot roof, due to the air which burns the CO. You will make a flame, CO plus half of O2 gives CO2, and it is a huge power, huge heat amount. If we take the example we had, do you remember the SAF we calculated? We had roughly you remember? It was about this, no?
Yes.
Yes? If you, my experience is if you have, if you suck air from openings, because these openings are comparable to a big door of an EAF in size. Huh? You agree? A big door of an EAF is like that. So here it's not so high, but it is around. So it is. This opening is around the part of the furnace. Or and anyway, this is something to check. If you have an air intake in a furnace, it will be in at least 5,000 air. No, let's make a little theory. A little theory. On this, what was the PCR we had? It was 60 or 80%? 80%. PCR was 80%. Tell me. Do you remember? PCR, the ratio CO2
0.8.
0.8, huh?
Yeah, 0.8.
So this means that we have how much CO? 20%. And 20% is 1,000 CO. You agree? And now, with these openings, I have 5,000 cubic meter air per hour. And this is not much, because on, you may have 10,000, but if you have only 5,000, is enough. Because how much oxygen I have? 5,000 air gives
20%.
how much?
20.
21.
Something.
You agree?
Yes.
You agree? Okay, so it's roughly 1,000 O2 and 4,000 nitrogen. And look, to burn 1,000 cubic meter CO, how much oxygen I need?
Half.
Half, exactly. So I have more than required oxygen to burn the CO. So you can be sure, because it's not an organized burner at this area of the furnace, but having much more oxygen than required, you be sure that you will burn all the CO here. And so you see, this is more than half of this, so all burned. And what is the calorific value of CO gas when burning? It's on the Excel sheet. You may not remember it. It's 3.5 kilowatt per cubic meter CO. So what is the power dissipated? Under the roof. I tell you, this is real life. Things like that I have measured in the Colwood furnace when we were not tight, because we had also a water-cooled roof, and on a water-cooled roof you measure the temperature of water in and water out, and you can calculate. What is the result? It's easy. Thousand cubic CO, delivering each 3.5 kilowatt hour is 3,500 kilowatt, and 3.5 megawatt. That's a huge burner, I tell you. That is heating up your roof. Okay, on the other hand, you can say you heat up also the charge, but not really, not really. You understand this?
Yes.
So
even that almost all CO burns.
yes, it must be like this, because what I explain is that this is the real CO amount in average, because we have calculated this. This is due to the process. You have 1,000 cubic meter per hour. And what I say is that if you have large openings at the top, you will suck in, I'm sure, more than 5,000 cubic meter air per hour. More than this. And only with 5,000, you already have 1,000 cubic meter oxygen. And this is already more than double of what you need to burn all the CO. So you can be sure that even if the flow is not very well organized, CO and CO will find enough oxygen to be burned at the end. At least, at the end, at least in this area, all will be burned.
Then what about if CO is not burned? Anyway, CO must be treated afterwards.
Yes, of course. You will have anyway a post-combustion chamber.
Yeah,
This you must have anyway. But it's better to burn it in the post-combustion chamber.
But does that any impact that the ore, raw material, can be heated up due to the CO burning?
That's true. That's true. It can be heated up a bit, but yes, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, right, a little.
But the problem is the overheating of the roof is not good. Small advantage of heating a little bit the charge, but you have a strong drawback of overheating the roof. And the roof structure, then you must, if you change one roof, this is costly again. So this, I would take care of having not too much openings.
Well, isn't it possible if we make the height is increase the height, then material can be layered much more, then the CO
Yes, you're
could be
right.
reacted with the ore.
You're right. Huh?
No
But,
CO anymore.
No, this is true, but the furnaces are already rather high. And doing it higher, you do a blast furnace, it's called a blast furnace, and it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And the problem is, then you will even have more and more, requirements on the ore granulometry, on the size distribution. Because having a higher layer, you must still keep this layer porous. And if you have a higher layer and you have many very small particles, it will stick, and then it will. Your furnace will, how do you say? Have unsteady reactions. I am saying that if this layer is very high, gas will not easily cross the layer, and then you have reactions. You have gas will make and then you have a small explosion, because you will have overpressure and you will blow off a portion of this. This is true, and this is a problem. And then this is a problem even for the ferronickel furnaces. And I told you that in case of ferronickel furnace, I know that they must screen it, in order to keep the layer porous to gas. They cannot afford to have the very fine, to have the very small particles due to that problem.
Yeah, I see.
Okay? Now we go, this is to show you a patent of DMAG. The patent is not a very tough invention, but the patent says the following. The patent says what is claimed is a solution to the fact that for medium and small size furnaces the detail engineering, the engineering work and the engineering cost is the same than for very big, very large furnaces. And so this is a very large cost point for the small and medium-sized furnaces. And to reduce this for small-sized furnaces, they propose not to, to go on site and to build all the furnace with small pieces, small sheets, small bars, and welding it on site, but they propose to fabricate in a workshop the different parts of the furnace in one piece. So they refabricate covers, finished covers of 3 meter, or maybe not 3 meter, but 4 meter, of 5 meter, of 6 meter, or 5.5, etc. They refabricate, how do you say, bottom plates of different dimensions. They will fabricate vessels of 4 meter, of 5 meter, of 6 meter, etc. And they will actually bring quasi-finished pieces on site and just assemble it, minimizing the welding work, and also doing engineering only once to fabricate a simple, standardized piece, a part, and doing just assembling it on site. Okay. Of course, this is not a process invention. It is not an invention of a new reactor. It is the result of thinking how to reduce costs of engineering when you fabricate small furnaces. And I mean, mechanics is not my skill, and so I would not explain you in detail how they do it. You have the patent number. You can get it. You can translate it in every detail. But it's to make you think about this question. Later on, we will have to think about how to construct smaller furnaces. Because there is a market for small furnaces. Indeed. And small furnaces cannot afford very high engineering costs. And maybe this is a kind of solution. You understand the principle
I know
The
what
details I cannot
what you're
explain
saying,
you.
but I don't understand why does that belongs to patent.
Yes, that's
I don't
true.
understand.
That's true. I agree. I agree with you. It's not a genius. It's a very practical problem, and it's not worthwhile to make a patent. But I don't know. I don't even know if they really got a patent. But they have filed it. They made the application. So I found it, and I find it interesting from the principle. So an engineering company must think about this and find solutions. He doesn't agree.
제네트가 저번에 음악을 그림 형태로 준 거랑 비슷하게 생겼다, 그지? 튜브 타입에 그지?
You'd better find on the web. You find the patent, and you can then you can analyze. Maybe you have other drawings which explain.
Which one is a patent number?
I will send you the patent.
Okay.
Okay, but not not in Korean.
English is okay.
It's in German. Excuse me.
That's why.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe I find an English version, but not sure.
모듈로 해가지고 그런 거.
말투 뭐 가격 줄이는 방법을 쉽게 뭐 했다는데 뭐 뭐지 어떻게 했는지 그게 왜 더 큰지 모르겠다.
Okay, now we come to the timing and campaigning. Process timing is the evaluating the sequence of tapping of metal and of slag. And this is the example of the SAF having a vessel surface of 120. Okay, before we had 130, but 120 is a high metal furnace, producing 10 ton-hour metal, but in case of the ferromanganese. And in case of ferromanganese, you remember we started with
this was
we had 25 roughly ton-hour ore in, and we produce 10 ton-hours metal. Metal was 400 kilo per ton ore, and slag was roughly 450 kilo per ton ore. So slag is about 11 ton hour slag. And we are thinking about how to organize metal tapping and slag tapping. And this is the result of the mass balance, you remember. Huh? How to organize the metal tapping. So the layering of the metal, of the slag, is like this. What I suggest here, using this dark metal layer, is that is the layer, when you tap the metal, that is the amount that you extract from the furnace.
Yeah.
And to estimate it, if you have 10 centimeters metal height times 120 square meter, you have 12 cubic meter metal, and with a specific mass of 6.5 ton per cubic meter, you have 78 tons. So if you want to tap, if you tap a ladle of 80 tons, it's okay. You must tap a height of about 10 centimeters. In practice, of course, you have the ladle, or you have the troughs that you fill. You have it, and you see when they are full, and then you stop. But just to calculate the amount, so in a large shaft, if you tap something like 80 or 100 tons, it is a small height. It's not much. But that is good for the stability of the process. Because if you had everything descending by half a meter, this is not good. Then you disturb everything. Half a meter is huge. But 10 centimeter is a good height. And for the slag, when you need to tap, excuse me, so 78 tons. If you tap 80 ton, yes, if you tap 8 ton for the metal producing 10 ton an hour, you will have a tapping every 8 hours. You agree? Okay?
Yeah.
And for slab tapping, same type of calculation. Okay, if you take 10 centimeter, so here I have taken 15 centimeter to end up with about 50 ton of slag, and this is about every 4 to 5 hours for tapping.
And when we make a design, these ones, we need to set the height of metal and slag.
Yes.
That is important.
Yes, exactly. You're right. We will set the height of metal and slag, and actually we will describe on the diagram, we will describe all the sequence. We will say, these I've done often with my colleagues. We say, we start the furnace and we obtain a stabilized, we obtain the minimum metal. Then the metal is increasing. It's not so good. It's too much metal increase. This is metal. The slag is increasing even more. It must be increasing much more now. And then you say, after 5 hours, you tap the slag, and the slag increases again. And for the metal, and if you do slag at the same time, slag is descending really very low. But you may not make tap it at the same time. So this is, in our case, this is roughly 4 hours, 8 hours, etc. And on the top of that, you can also draw the layer. This is the slag. You can also draw the burden, the ore. Do you agree? No. Now comes the question: how to be sure to control the metal height, the slag height? Because I can tell you, I have myself on one furnace that I have started. Had the problem that okay, it was a pulver type, meaning without ore layer. But nevertheless, we did not, because it was tight, could not observe inside. We did not check, and the slag level actually, instead of increasing, descending, increasing, etc., it increased each time a little bit. And at the end, we had much more, both metal and slag in the furnace. And it was too high. And we got a problem. And in the case of another furnace, I was there in the United States. There, same problem, but they had this type of cooling. And actually, when you have this, the slag normally this is done to have the slag like this, and here you have solid. So this is not aggressive. Even if the slag goes a bit higher, it's normally not a problem. But if you don't control the height and you have slag until here, that was the case, then because here you have refractory, then they had the slag destroyed this. It went behind.
You mean the slag spilled from?
No, not only spilling. Finally they had an explosion, because when you have this, the copper, the copper structure was hot, completely hot, even behind.
Yeah.
It made like this, and they had a breakthrough and explosion.
So we can expect the slag height according to the temperature of the water cooling.
That's one point.
Yeah.
That's right. But maybe not enough, because water cooling sometimes
could be not enough.
it is due to the wear. Huh? If you have more wear, even at one place,
Yeah, right.
water temperature increases.
Uh-huh.
So the solution is first to make an accurate mass balance of what you charge and of what you discharge, metal and slag. Okay, people did not do that. That's the first. And the second, I recommend to measure once a day metal height and slag height. Okay, in the Paul Wurth furnace, we installed a specific lens, which was the temperature and sampling lens. And of course, it was more easy because we had not the ore layer, but only the slag and the metal. But it can be done anyway, because normally the ore layer, if you push a bit, you will cross it. And since you go from solid to liquid, any lens will, you will see this. Actually, we did it with the temperature lens. And the temperature lens had a device giving not only the temperature, but the resistance, the electrical resistance of the medium you are crossing. So we had not only temperature increase, but we were sure that the resistance. So we went to the liquid, to slag, and then if you continue, you go to metal, it's the same. Metal resistance is much lower than slag. So you have also maybe, but maybe not, a temperature difference between slag and metal, but we have a big decrease of resistance.
Is there no difficulty to penetrate the lens into the ore?
Is no difficulty?
No.
I think there may be if you have a kind of sintering
Yeah.
of the solid, then it may be, yes.
Even though it can be possible.
For me, it is possible, yes. And I really would recommend maybe once a day, not very often, to check, because you know you will have installed a mass balance of the furnace, and the mass balance will predict that having charged X tons, having tapped X ton of metal, having tapped X ton of slag, the model predicts the level of this for metal, this for slag, etc. But it's good once a day to check and to measure and to reset the model.
I see.
Okay.
두 장 나오네.
이거 하면서 이거 CD하고 이런 것들 여기 위에 없잖아.
안 보이네.
나중에 이제 SD가 됐고.
네, 여보세요?
CD라는 거 우리 뭐 배터리 일단 PCD 하면 일렉트로드 사이즈 이런 거고 지금 내일 개를 하기 전에 어떨까요?
예.